Guys, well, I got the tank off. Figured it out. So I got the tank outside. I'll show you in a minute, but you understand how the tank sits into this space. When you look underneath it, you lift it up, you're gonna have these two wires that clip into the bottom, about right here to the bottom of the tank. And if you look, it looks like there's supposed to be a clip there. Well, it's actually on the female end of the clip, which is attached to the tank. You'll just pull the little tab down. If you don't have fingernails, you'll have to use like a knife or something. Just stick it in there and push the tab down with one hand, and then you pull the wire out with the other hand. The hoses, I mean, pretty simple. You just undo the hose clamp. It might be a little tough at first. It helped to twist the hose back and forth a couple times to free it up. You might can just like lightly spray it with some WD-40 or something if you want, maybe your hoses are old and you don't want to rip them or something. But yeah, just get the hoses off. You have this hose, you have this hose, and this hose. And once you get those off, and you've unbolted from the back hinge, the tank should come right off. Yesterday we talked about how it should only be the rust from where I busted the locking mechanism, and I was wrong. As you can see, it doesn't look terrible, but there is a little bit of rust damage. Hopefully I can salvage this and replace it later on down the road, as I have the money for that. Right now I do not. So this is your fuel float, this is your fuel pump. So yeah, I think I'm gonna be able to just clean up some of this rust and corrosion, and I should be good to go, at least for another couple months or so until I get the money to do it. As you can see, there's a little bit of corrosion. Most of it's just coming off, and then some, a little bit chunky. Like I said, considering it's not that bad, I think I'll be able to get most of it out with some rust cleaner. I got a buddy, he's on the way right now to go pick up some rust cleaner and stuff. So what I did was I filled it up with water. I learned afterwards that the water doesn't just drain out easily. So what I did was I just went ahead and took off the fuel pump and the fuel float to be able to get the water out, and that's when I noticed this damage. And yeah, that's about where I'm at right now. That being said, I did come across this right here. It bolts in right here, right? That's how you're gonna find it. It's like this. Well, I cleaned it up a little bit. As you can see, when I pulled it out, there was literally just rust all over this with just like a little needle hole in the middle. So I cleaned out the two side holes here and cleaned up the threads a little bit and filled it up with some PB Blaster, just kind of knock whatever's in there free. And then I hit it with some compressed air to free up what was ever in there. So like I said, once he gets back, we're gonna fill this up with the rust remover and get it all cleaned out and everything. Once I get that done and I clean up these two units over here, then we'll get back into putting it back on the bike. Now once I fill it up with rust remover, and I rinse it out a couple times to get the moisture out of there. Somebody had a good idea. They said just use some rubbing alcohol, and that the rubbing alcohol will take all the moisture out of the tank, because it's like drying whenever you use it. So I'm gonna try that, and I'll probably do that and still let it air out overnight. Maybe get like an air hose or something and blow some air through there for a while. While I've got this fuel tank off, I'm gonna go in here and try to clean up some of this. I mean, it's pretty dirty. Just while I have it off, there's no point in putting the fuel tank back on with all this dirty and then having to go back in and do it later. So I'm just gonna do it while I have it off. Hopefully by tomorrow night, I'll be able to have this thing put back together and filled up with fuel and ready to go. That's the game plan. So if you have any tips for rinsing out the fuel tank, or any other methods for what's going on, just let me know in the comments. So hopefully, it did take me a while to figure out those clips. I thought you had to squeeze them, and I was afraid of breaking it. Then I realized that you just pull it down and they come right out. And I will show you this as well while I'm thinking about it, because even knowing that you have to pull the clips down, it does help to understand that I could have gave myself some more wiggle room. So if you look here, this is where it connects. This little tab right here is what you push down to pull out those wires. But if you look right here on the back side, this little slot, it slides on to this right here. It'll slide onto this. This will be mounted on the outside of your fuel pump. It'll be mounted like that, and the clip just slides on there. So what you can do is you can push this tab up. So this one you push up towards the wire, and you can slide this whole thing while it's clipped to the other wire off of this to give you some room to actually get your hands in there while it's still connected to the bike. And then this one, like I said, you'll push this one away from the wire to get the other wire off. Hopefully that saves you some time. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.